What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hold the Phone podcast. I'm your host, Alex, joined today by my host, Ryan. And there's been a lot going on in the league this week, Ryan.
Oh, yeah, very busy week in the NFL. You want to just dive right in?
Yeah, we can.
All right, so as you guys may know, the Cleveland Browns kind of gave us a huge bombshell to start the week off on Monday by signing Kareem Hunt to that pretty small one-year deal. John Dorsey took a big chance on the guy he drafted in Kansas City. I really like the move, although I'm kind of confused because now their backfield seems a little busy with Nick Chubb and Duke.
Yeah.
Duke Williams. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, I feel like they're going to have to try and trade Duke Johnson.
Well, there it is, Duke Johnson. I was like, Duke Williams does not sound right, but yeah, Duke Johnson.
They're going to have to do something with him. Like, there's no way that all three of them are going to be happy. I don't know. I mean, I understand the deal just because you already know Kareem Hunt if you're John Dorsey, and you got him for super cheap, but I don't know. You had a really good young back in Chubb, but they do expect Hunt to be suspended for like anywhere between 8 and 12 weeks. So
I was about to say, I like the move in terms of maybe injury. Maybe they're trying to do like a little Patriots committee kind of thing where Duke Johnson is the receiving back, Nick Chubb is like, I honestly don't know what they're going to do with in terms of the feature back. You all right?
yeah, I'm good.
But I like the move overall. I think it honestly propels them even further than they already were. I feel like everyone in that division is kind of declining, so I feel like the Cleveland Browns are in really good position as of right now to take the lead in that AFC North.
I agree. As long as they can stay like focused on the goal and not get distracted because they actually started winning some things.
I agree. I like Baker, though. I think he's got a good head on the shoulders, and I think John Dorsey's going to lead the team well.
Yeah, me too.
So moving on through NFL news, we got news later on in the week that the Texans were moving on from wide receiver Demaryius Thomas. They traded for Thomas at the deadline in the 2018 season after Will Fuller went down with an injury to kind of pair him up with DeAndre Hopkins and help push them further into the playoffs. Things didn't really work out well as Demaryius Thomas got injured, and now they're letting him go. What do you think of that, Alex?
I think it makes sense. He's getting older. They didn't give up a ton to get him, and hot take, I think they're going to trade for Antonio Brown and have Antonio Brown on the other side with DeAndre Hopkins.
First off, that would be absolutely dangerous, and if that happened, the Texans would have no excuse not to be winning championships. Because, I mean, that would be like the deadliest receiving core in the game.
Yeah, one of the
DeAndre
deadliest.
Hopkins, AB, and then Will Fuller.
Pretty much one of the deadliest ever.
Oh, for sure. And then I also heard you mention, I think it was by accident, but you mentioned Le'Veon Bell. I think that would also be a great addition. Again, that would make them one of the best offenses in the game.
Yeah, I don't know if they have the cap space to go after both of them, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely not both. It's got to be one or the other, but either one would be a huge stepping stone for them in terms of offensive development. But I was kind of shocked by the Demaryius Thomas news, though. I thought he was a pretty good fit in Houston until he hurt himself. But, I mean, I'm curious to see where he lands in free agency.
Yeah, me too. Do you have any potential landing spots for him?
Honestly, depending on your satisfaction with Torrey Smith and how you guys handle Devin Funchess, I think you guys might be a potential landing spot for him. I'd also look at places like Philadelphia. Maybe even Seattle gives him a call to pair him up with Doug Baldwin. But I don't know. I think he's got a lot of potential landing spots. What about you? What were you thinking?
I like those places. The one things I could think about were the Packers maybe or the Patriots.
Both of those are also really, really good options. I feel like the Patriots would really appreciate him with the experience he has and the athleticism he still has left in the tank.
Yeah.
So moving on to Thursday, the Baltimore Ravens made headlines by trading Joe Flacco to the Denver Broncos. Flacco has been with the team for 11 years, so as you can imagine, it's kind of a big move. That's basically the Ravens fully committing to Lamar Jackson, which they already started to towards the end of the season. And mainly for the Broncos, I don't know what Jono is doing, man. I mean, if you look at the numbers side by side between Case Keenum, who is the current Denver Broncos quarterback, and Joe Flacco, they're almost identical. I don't know if you saw that this week, but it was like astonishing how like similar these guys have been playing. So I think it was a lateral move. I like that they didn't really give much up for him, but like that's a huge cap hit for somebody who's not really going to help you win a championship.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, they have two quarterbacks that they're basically paying $20 million. They're going to have to try and trade Keenum, but who's going to want him on that contract?
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, honestly, depending on. I mean, I know we talked about this a few weeks back, but depending on Cam's situation, you guys might want to take a look at him at least for a year or two.
Maybe, but
I mean, he is a solid backup.
I think there's better free agents out there that are cheaper.
Tyrod Taylor, baby.
Yep. I'm sticking with it.
So lastly, to wrap up the NFL News Week, yesterday we got news that the Buffalo Bills are moving on from tight end Charles Clay, and the Detroit Lions are moving on from Glover Quinn.
Yeah.
Their safety. Both I thought were pretty big moves. I know that at least in the Buffalo circle, people have been talking about cutting Clay since he dropped that game-winning pass against Miami a few weeks into the season. I kind of like the move. I mean, Charles Clay has been on the decline since he hurt himself in Week 5 of the 2017 season. So he hasn't really been productive for like almost 2 years. I think it frees up a lot of cap. I think it frees up about $5 million for us in this year's free agency period. But I like the move overall. I wish Charles Clay the best, and I just think that it was time to move on. And in terms of Glover Quinn, I think he's also kind of older as well, a little past his prime. So I can see why the Lions went a different direction there. What do you have to say about it?
I think Clay is going to end up somewhere like the Patriots or somebody like that. He's going to go to a contender, try and get him a championship ring on the way out. Glover Quinn, I would love to see the Panthers sign him, even though we just signed Eric Reed for 3 years. I would still love to see him come to the Panthers. I don't think he will. He'll probably go to a contender also. Like maybe the Chiefs. The Chiefs could probably use him, honestly.
Oh, yeah. If the Chiefs don't get Earl Thomas, that would be a great pickup for them.
Yeah.
And honestly, on my ride home yesterday, I did think about you guys as potential landing spots for Quinn as well.
Yeah. I mean, even Clay, if we could get him super cheap, but then we'd have two injury-riddled tight ends in Olsen and Clay.
Yeah. I think this might be a hot take, at least for you, but I think it might be time for Olsen to pack her up, at least start thinking about it.
I agree. I think if he gets injured again this year, he will retire. So is that all we had for NFL news this week?
I think so. I think it's time to move on to the next segment.
To pretty much
what do you have for us?
The bigger chunk of the actual podcast this week, we're going to redraft the 2018 draft. I believe you are going to have pick 1, correct?
That is correct.
Wait, if you have pick 1, the Bills pick at 12. You don't get the Bills pick.
No, they picked at 7. That's the original draft order.
Oh, okay. Then I have the wrong one. I got to find the original. I mean, the real one. Yeah, but you get pick 1, and then I have the rest. Okay, there we go. I got that. Yep. I got the right order.
I'll get 1, and you got the other 31. All right.
Oh, my bad. Did I say that? I meant.
No. No. I know what you meant, though.
Yeah, we're gonna alternate.
I'll get the evens. You get the odds.
Yeah, there we go. Words are hard.
So it happens. So while you're pulling that up, I'll go into my first overall pick, and I'm gonna shock a lot of people here. I'm sticking with Baker Mayfield. A lot of people, including myself, were skeptical about him being the first overall pick. I just didn't know if he had it in him to actually be a franchise quarterback. But I'm here to say that I was wrong. I think Baker can definitely lead this Browns team to a brighter future. And if I'm John Dorsey, I don't think that Tyrod Taylor can pull the load. And he's definitely a bridge quarterback, so I like Baker Mayfield at this first overall pick. Hopefully we can shake it up a little bit down the line, but I'm staying true to the original draft on this one. I'm going Baker.
I agree with that one. That's who I would have taken also. I think he just fits that team so well.
Oh, for sure. All right, who you got it too?
Speaking of shaking things up, we're going to shake it up right now, and the New York Giants are going to select Sam Darnold with the number 2 overall pick. Because as great as Saquon was this year, they're still sitting at number, I think, 6 in this draft. They need a quarterback. They should have gotten him last year when he was on the board. Literally any of the quarterbacks. I would have taken any of them. I even thought about the Bills' Josh Allen here. But I think they should solidify the quarterback position for the next 10 years and go with Sam Darnold. I know he threw a lot of interceptions this year, but I think he has a ton of potential.
I really like the pick here. I do agree that I really do think that the Giants had that on their mind, but I think they had to take the best player on the board, which at that time was Saquon, and I still think Saquon is the best player overall between him and Darnold. I see what you're saying, though. They need a franchise quarterback. So I like the pick here. I like that a lot.
All right, who you got at 3?
So I feel like an obligation now. I feel like since Saquon is on the board, I have to take him, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take him with the 3rd overall pick, sending him to the Jets. Isaiah Crowell didn't really perform as well as they thought he would. Bilal Powell had to have season-ending surgery, so I'm taking Saquon Barkley, and I'm not looking back.
Nice. So then you actually stole my pick. I was going to have the Browns take Barkley, but we will switch it up, and we're going to have the Browns take defensive end Bradley Chubb and pair him up with, I'm blanking. Who's their other?
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett. Have Myles on one side, Chubb on the other. Solidify that defensive line for the future.
I love it.
So now you have
that means
Broncos pick at 5.
Broncos pick at 5. That's a tough one because I really did like Denzel Ward. But I don't know. I got a nasty man named Quentin Nelson sitting here right in front of me. Or I could go quarterback. This is a tough one.
It is.
I think if I am the Broncos at this pick, I know the defense is already really solid, at least in the secondary. So I think I'm going with Quentin Nelson at 5. I think I'm stealing him from the Colts.
I think the Colts would hate that in real life, but I do think that's the right pick there. All
right, who you got at 6?
Oh, who are the Colts going to take? I was going to have them take Quentin Nelson again. We are going to take... we're going to reach a little bit farther down the board, and we're going to take Derwin James from Florida State, safety, at number 6.
What a move. I love it. So why Derwin James? Why'd you...
Well,
I don't want to say it's a reach because he was a Pro Bowler, but I mean, why?
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, you took the offensive lineman, and I think that defense is so young they could use a stud back there. Because, honestly, I'm trying to think of like who the Colts safeties are, and I literally am drawing a blank. So they must not be that great. And I just feel like he'd be a really good piece behind with Darius Leonard back there as a linebacker. Just put him right there behind. Solidify those corners and those safeties for the future.
Well, I think the safeties are Malik Hooker and Matthias Farley, but I could see where you want the upgrade. Derwin James is definitely an upgrade over those guys. I love the pick. Nice pick, man.
All right. Appreciate it.
So, near and dear to my heart, I'm picking for my hometown team, the Buffalo Bills. And I'm happy to say I'm not shaking it up again. I'm taking Josh Allen, baby. I know they caught a lot of flack for taking him, especially trading up for him. But I mean, he is the city of Buffalo. He's such a hardworking guy, and I know that he had a shaky first 6 games. But if you watched him at the end of the season, you could clearly see that the game slowed down for him. He just needed a mentor, which we found in Derek Anderson and kind of Matt Barkley. I like Josh Allen. I think he's Buffalo's quarterback of the future. Knock on wood.
I like it. I like it. I mean, that's who I would have picked if I had them. So 8, we are actually going to stick with the original selection of Roquan Smith for the Bears, just because I think just solidify that defense even more. I mean, it seems like they're going to ride out with Mitchell Trubisky, so no need to go quarterback here. Just let's upgrade that defense with Roquan Smith. He's all over the place. He gets tons of sacks. Yeah, I think he had like 3 interceptions this season, so yeah, he's an all-out stud on the defensive side of the ball.
I like it. I like it. So now I'm at San Francisco 49ers pick at number 9, and I think I'm going to – I hate to be boring here, but I think I'm going to stay – words are really hard today. I think I'm going to stick to the script. I'm going to stay with Mike McGlinchey. They have glaring needs on their offensive line, or at least they did a year ago, and I still think they have some weak spots on that line. So I think I'm going to stick with McGlinchey here just to be safe, just plain and safe.
I like it. I like it. So pick 10, the Cardinals. They desperately need a quarterback, and I guess if I'm redrafting the 2018, I'm not looking forward to them taking Kyler Murray with the number 1 overall pick this year. So it's between Lamar Jackson, who runs 30 times a game, or Josh Rosen, who didn't show a lot of potential but is super young. So I think, again, we're going to go boring, and we're going to stick with the overall selection of Josh Rosen.
I like it. I mean, they need a quarterback, and I think that Rosen can eventually be that guy. I like to see him under Cliff Kingsbury and see what he does. But, I mean, the temptation is there, man. Kyler Murray is coming, but I like to pick.
All right. You have the Dolphins.
So I do have the Dolphins, my division rival. I kind of want to take the worst player on the board here just because. But I think if I'm the Dolphins, I might jump on Tremaine Edmonds here. I might steal him from the Bills. I think I'm taking Tremaine Edmonds. I mean, just to solidify the linebacker position, maybe move Kiko Alonso to more of an edge. But I mean, I think they need to solidify the defense, and I think if Brian Flores was here, I think he would have taken Tremaine Edmonds.
I like it. I like that pick a lot. So I am sitting here at 13 with the Redskins? No, 12 with the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Bucks are we're going to reach a little bit down the board here, and we're going to take Leighton Vander Esch away from the Cowboys and get a little bit younger on that Bucks defense.
I like it. Ooh. So I got the Redskins at 13.
Yes.
I think Redskins at 13. This is tough. I think they did definitely feel a glaring need here. I might stay simple. I might stick with Deron Payne, push Vita Vea back a little bit, but I'm sticking with Deron Payne. They definitely need someone to fill the gap and stop the run. So
okay.
On to 14.
I like it. At 14, the New Orleans Saints are going to select Minka Fitzpatrick, defensive back out of Alabama, and probably move him to safety.
I like it.
Feel like they could use another safety, and I don't know. Marcus Davenport.
You can never have too many safeties, man.
Davenport wasn't a huge stud this year, so I feel like it helps the team a little bit. I mean, he was all right, but he wasn't as worth the pick that they traded up for to get him, so I'm going to have them take a little bit better of a safety.
He was hurt a lot, but I see what you're saying. So I got the Oakland Raiders at 15. And I think what I'm going to do is, since you didn't take Davenport, I think I'm going to take Davenport at 15 just to give them a little extra pass rush on the defensive side of the ball. although he was kind of sidelined a lot with injury, I liked a lot of what I saw from Davenport. So I think that I don't know if he quite fit in John Gruden's scheme, but I think they have to take him at 15 years.
I like it. I like it. The Buffalo Bills are gonna select. Ooh. See, I don't know if you're gonna like this one, but we're gonna look for the future, and we're gonna select Sony Michel out of Georgia to replace LaShawn McCoy in the near future.
I actually love that move. I know a best friend of mine who wouldn't like that move, who's a Patriots fan, but I personally like the move. Going all offense, I like it.
Yep.
So I have the Los Angeles Chargers at 17, and since my man Derwin James is not there, and I don't have Minka Fitzpatrick to lean on, oh my goodness, I just realized that everyone has been passing on Denzel Ward. So I think I'm going to take Pro Bowler Denzel Ward at 17.
Oh, wow. I did not even pay attention to him dropping that far.
Me either. I realized that I was like, cornerbacks. I was like, yeah, no one drafted Denzel, so I'm going to take Denzel at 17.
I like that one. So then at 18, we're going to stick with who they took, the Packers. Jahar Alexander out of Louisville. They needed a cornerback. They got a good one in him, so we're just going to stick with that selection.
I like it. And now that I have the Cowboys at 19 and I don't have my werewolf man, Leighton Vander Esch, I think I'm going to reach into the second round, and I'm taking my man Darius Leonard.
Dude, you stole my pick. That's who the Lions were going to take with the next one. All right.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. So next I have the Lions. Honestly, I don't know a lot about their offensive lineman that they took. Frank Ragnow
was pretty good.
Okay. Well, they're going to continue to stay with him because they paid Stafford so much money, they got to protect him. And
you got to protect your quarterback.
So they're going to stick with that center slash or he's listed as center slash guard, but I'm guessing he plays guard. So they're going to stick with that.
I like it. Gotta keep Stafford safe. You're not paying him to sit on the ground. And with the Cincinnati Bengals, Billy Price didn't really perform up to expectations. So I'm going to take a guy we passed on earlier and go with Colton Miller, who originally got drafted by the Oakland Raiders at 15. I know he's a tackle and they kind of needed a center, but I think they have to take the best offensive lineman on the board right now, and that's Colton Miller. He played great for the Raiders this year, and I think he'd be a great fit with the Bengals.
I like it. The Tennessee Titans, that is who is next, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Tennessee Titans, we are going to stick with Rashaan Evans, linebacker from Alabama, because their linebacking core is getting old, and they need to make that defense a lot more youthful because their offense is trending that direction, so we might as well start working on the defense.
I like it. Oh, gosh. Man, I really did pick all of my division rivals. All right. So with New England Patriots at 23, and I think we're going to take Austin Prohl. I'm just kidding. He was a 7th rounder. No, we're gonna stick with Isaiah Wynn. I know he missed all of this year, but they really need an influx of youth. Honestly, on that whole roster, but more importantly, on that offensive line, I think Isaiah Wynn is going to be great for them next year when he can actually play. I liked the pick when it first happened. I like the pick now.
All right, and we are going to be boring again, and the Carolina Panthers are going to stick with their original first-round pick of DJ Moore, wide receiver from Maryland. He started.
Really?
Yes, really. He started to come on late. I love his aggressiveness, and yeah, I don't want anybody else. I think he's probably going to end up being the best wide receiver to come out of that class.
Over Calvin Ridley, really?
Yep. Calvin Ridley's older. DJ Moore's like 21. Calvin Ridley's 24. I'd rather take the 3 years.
That's fair. All right, so now I have the Baltimore Ravens at 25. Ooh. I don't know if Hayden Hurst is the answer here. That was who they originally drafted at 25. I think that I am going to pick. This is a tough one. I might stick with Hayden Hurst just because. I mean, they definitely need an influx of. At least they need to just shake things up, honestly, at tight end, and that's exactly what they did. They drafted 2 tight ends in this draft. I like Hayden Hurst, more of a blocking kind of guy, but I mean, he seemed to fit the offensive scheme pretty well this year, so I think I'll just stick with him, play it safe.
Okay, I like it. We're really going to shake things up here with pick 26. We're going to reach into the second round, high second round, and we're going to take offensive guard Will Hernandez for the Atlanta Falcons. I just feel like they have enough wide receivers. I understand the pick of what's his name? Calvin Ridley. He was a stud, honestly, this year. But I think they're paying Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's not going anywhere for a little while. We need to get some help on that offensive line to protect him, keep him upright. We're going to go Will Hernandez.
I like it. I like the pick, especially because their offensive line is kind of old. So I like the youth movement. So sticking with the same position that Seattle was looking for originally, instead of Rashad Penny, I'm reaching into the second round and I'm grabbing Nick Chubb.
Okay.
I think Nick Chubb just provides way more athleticism. I mean, I know the Browns have at least a little bit better of an offensive line, but I feel like Nick Chubb is the right guy here.
No, I like it. I think Rashad Penny was a wasted first-round pick, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I think they reached for him. I think he could have been a second or third rounder.
So,
maybe not third, but maybe at least second.
28 is the Steelers, and we are going to stick with their original selection of Terrell Edmonds and let him rock at safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers, just because.
I respect it.
Another thing, they're an old defense, basically, and they need a youth movement. So we're going to bring in a pretty solid safety out of Virginia Tech and let him rock.
All right. Well, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars at 29, and I'm kind of torn on this pick. They originally picked Tatum Bryant, defensive tackle, but I'm going to give a little bit of my strategy away. I'm going offensive here. But knowing what I know now, how they need a quarterback, I'm taking Lamar Jackson.
Okay. Huh.
I just feel like they're definitely moving on from Bortles. I don't know if Jackson is the right team fit here, but I mean, it's at least a shot in the dark. I like it.
I like it. The Minnesota Vikings are not going to take Mike Hughes. They are going to go, I believe he was a second-round pick, James Daniels, guard. He played very well for the Bears this season, and they need to keep their filthy rich quarterback off the ground. So we're going to go offensive line help.
I like the shade. So, at 31, since Sony Michel is no longer available, and Rashad Penny just seems disgusting at this point. No offense, Rashad Penny.
Do the right thing, Ryan.
I'm doing the right thing. I don't like it at all. But with the 31st pick, the New England Patriots are selecting Calvin Ridley, getting some more wide receiver depth. I just feel like that is a dangerous pass attack.
Okay. I would have had them take running back undrafted Philip Lindsay with the 31 overall pick. But Calvin...
That would be a good option.
Calvin is a very good option also. Could you imagine that? That's the last thing.
Josh Gordon, Edelman, Chris Hogan, Calvin Ridley.
Gronk.
And Gronk.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to mess with it.
So who do we want to take with the Ravens? Now that you have taken away our quarterbacks, all of them.
My fault.
They are gonna take. Oh, this is difficult. Defensive tackle Vita Vea with the last pick in the first round.
Okay, I respect it.
Add some more depth
Gotta,
to that
yeah,
defensive line.
yeah, man. I liked it. That was that was really fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Let us know if our picks are off. Let us know who you would have taken. Um, Honestly, we're not the experts, but I mean, we love to hear what you guys
I
have
already
to say
wanted.
and who you would have picked.
I already want to change my last pick. I just remembered somebody.
Who?
Christian Kirk, the wide receiver who went to the Cardinals. That's definitely who I would have had the Ravens take. They
Oh,
need wide receiver help
that's
so badly.
that's a good pick. I like it.
Okay.
Sorry,
But
Vita Vea. Sit back down. Sit back down.
yeah. Go back to your seat. Sorry. Next round. We got you. So do you have anything else for this episode?
I don't think so. I think just tune in next time. We're going to be previewing the NFL Combine. We're going to be looking at all sorts of monsters like Kyler Murray and that monster DK Metcalf. Did you see that picture of him the other week?
It's ridiculous. Like, what the heck? He has to be. Never mind. I'm not going to put that on him. But he must live in the gym. He must live in the gym. And he's 6'5", or he's like 6'4.5".
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I wouldn't want to. Okay, honestly though, like with pads on, like he looks big, but he doesn't look that big. Like with his because for those of you who don't know, there was a shirtless picture of him that was posted, and he literally looks like he ate someone bigger than him.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it and put it up on the Twitter, but it's ridiculous.
I like it.
But yeah, I think that's all we have for this episode. Like Ryan said, we're gonna preview the Combine next week, and you guys have a good weekend. We'll see you next time.